and thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. If you're a reader like me, then you know there's nothing better than finding a quiet, warm, sunny spot to kick back with your favorite book and while away a summer afternoon. Today we're offering a few ideas to help you spend your summer lost in the pages of a good book. Our guide today is the director of the Westford Public Library, Bree Drapa. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And of course, summer is maybe known for its beach reads and maybe a more frivolous book. What do you recommend?
I recommend reading whatever you want during the summer. The summer is the time to explore new authors, to explore new series, and just totally get lost in a book. Also, it's the time to be outside, so maybe you want to listen to an audiobook. There's all kinds of choices.
A lot of options. And
yeah.
You were actually saying before we started, the summer's a pretty busy time in your library especially.
Summer is a really busy time at the library. It's a great time to take your grandkids to the library if they're visiting, to bring in kids. I mean, you always want to keep your kids reading during the summer to avoid the summer slump. You know, they'll lose some of that reading muscle strength that they had built up during the school year. So you want to keep everyone reading, kids, yourself, and it's just fun.
So a good fun way to while away the summer and also, of course, keep yourself sharp.
Exactly.
Even you and me, I'm sure we appreciate that.
Oh, I love reading over the summer. Yeah.
And as you mentioned before, not just books at a library, of course, there are also audiobooks, maybe for those long road trips if you get a migraine or you're behind the wheel. What do you have to offer there?
Right. We offer a lot of resources at the library. A lot of them are electronic, so you can download ebooks and audiobooks onto your phone or tablet through the Libby or the Palace app, which are both free with your library card. I think audiobooks are a fantastic way to maybe knock out those required summer readings. If you're, a high schooler or something and you've required summer reading, download it on audio. Go out for a hike, stick it in your earbuds and, enjoy nature and listen to your story. I mow the lawn while listening to books, so it's actually become my favorite chore and task. I just put in my earbuds, I put on my noise canceling headphones, and I have an hour and a half to listen to a book.
Read on the move a little bit.
Right, it makes those unpleasant tasks really pleasant, and you can listen to a lot of books over the summer.
And it's not just books or literature that libraries rent out. Can you tell me what else you folks offer?
Right, we offer a variety of things. The new thing is the Library of Things. So libraries check out puzzles, games, sports equipment. Some even have fold-up kayaks that you can check out. There's just go explore what your library has to offer, and I bet you'll be really, really surprised because it is more than just books.
And one thing I've found locally is museum passes, which are so handy.
Museum passes are really handy. All libraries in Vermont have state parks passes.
Oh,
that
great.
can get your family into a state park or a state historic site for free. Different museums, usually locally. So if you're in southern Vermont, they might have a different choice than up here in Chittenden County, but anywhere local, they might have a pass to it.
Great, and of course this is the 100-year anniversary of Vermont State Park, so you can support your library and your state parks at once.
Yes, exactly. I know it's a great place to read a book.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of books, you've brought quite a few with you today. Let's start with some that you recommend for a middle school reader.
Okay, so the first book that I'm recommending to the crowd is Alan Gratz. He's a fantastic middle school writer. This is historical fiction. It takes place during the Battle of Pearl Harbor, so we actually start the day before, so December 6th, and it follows the story of two best friends. They're young, they live with their parents on the military base, and one friend is white and one friend is Japanese. And then when the base is bombed, there's a lot of prejudice and racism that comes towards the Japanese American family. And so you have those issues of racism and prejudice. This is one of those authors that writes fantastic books, not only on World War II, he has several, but more contemporary issues like climate change, 9/11, refugees, any and everything. So he's one of those authors you can get lost in all summer. So like you could say, I'm going to read 5 Alan Gratz books, and you wouldn't be disappointed at all. It's also great for adults who like historical fiction. So if you want to read with your child or your middle schooler to have something to talk about, it's a great read. And it's also a little bit less violent than some of the World War II books that adults might have available.
Sure, so a great pick for maybe a family book club.
Yes, a family book club, family read aloud. I'm a big fan of those. I actually brought one that would make a perfect family read aloud. So this is The Lost Library by Rebecca Steed and Wendy Mass, who are both fantastic middle grade authors. This book is on the Vermont's Golden Dome Book Award list. The Golden Dome are the middle school book awards. So any library in Vermont should have a copy of this. Do you know what little free libraries are?
Well, I've seen plenty of them. I'm a fan of stopping by.
Okay, well, so in this book, a little free library appears, and it is curated by a cat. So this book is told by 3 different voices. Evan, who's an 11-year-old boy, a ghost librarian named Al, and the voice of Mortimer, the cat, the curator of this little free library. So there is a mystery, there's great cat, a cat and a librarian is always the best. So I think this would make a great family read aloud.
Great.
And it's just a really compelling story about the power of books and finding your own voice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And let's talk young adult books. What did you bring?
Oh, I brought a couple of ones I know you will like. So off of our the GMBA list, or the Green Mountain Book Award list, which is the YA or teen reads recommended by Vermont librarians and teachers, I brought The Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So The Divine Rivals is the first in a duology. The second one is already out, so if you're hooked on this, you can go right to the second installment.
We love a finished series.
It's finished. It's good. It's been topping the New York Times bestseller list. It's just a really great book. It is a enemies or maybe colleagues turned lovers type of book. It takes place in a kind of realistic fantasy world where we have 2 reporters who are rivals, and we have a magic typewriter. And one of the reporters, her brother, has gone missing in the war, and she's determined to find out about this, but she needs to win a prize to save her family, and we have a handsome yet dastardly competitor for the prize standing in her way. So it is just really, really good. I want to read the little snippet description. It says, "Rich and romantic. If stories had a scent, this one would smell like a mug of black tea, the ink of a typewriter, and the addictive spice called enemies to lovers."
Ooh.
So I really think, I've got goosebumps. I think you'll love this one.
Everyone needs a dastardly rival, of course.
Oh, of course, of course. And now, knowing that you are a romance fan, like a true romance fan, I brought you this book by Allie Hazelwood. I think I had recommended her last time, and you had been like, I love her. So this book is also on the Green Mountain Book Award list, and this one is called Check and Mate. So this is Allie Hazelwood's first young adult book. So she's usually a nice steamy romance, not too steamy, but mid-steamy. But this is for a younger audience, so not as much. But this is about chess. And Mallory, her life is a mess, and she has the chance to play one more chess game for a big prize, which she desperately needs that money. But the bad boy of chess, Nolan Sawyer, stands in her way, and she realizes she might like something more than just chess in this book.
And I fortunately, as a huge Allie Hazelwood fan, I have already read this one, and I cannot recommend it enough. It took 2 sittings. It was gone.
Right,
so highly recommend.
And it's also paperback book, which is great to take to the beach or stick in your backpack on a plane. Quick read. So definitely recommend Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood if you're into some romance.
That one's phenomenal. So,
yay!
And why don't you tell me about some of the books for adults that you've brought?
Okay, I'd love to hold up the book, The Women by Kristen Hanna, but it's so popular right now at my library that both of my copies are checked out, and I just couldn't get one. Kristen Hanna is basically like the reigning queen of historical fiction, romance, relationship stories. She writes page-turners, tear-jerkers. Her book, The Nightingale, it left me in a puddle. She wrote The Four Winds, and this is her newest book called The Women. And this is about women in Vietnam who are nurses. So it follows the life of Frankie, who goes to Vietnam as a nurse, and then, has those Vietnam experiences. It's a lens into what women experienced in Vietnam, and then afterwards. So she's dealing with PTSD, she's dealing with protests and people, being anti-war. This book is super popular, so if you're hoping to get it at your library, you might want to get on the waiting list right now because it has a really long waiting list at all libraries. But one caveat, this book does depend on your own personal experiences in or with Vietnam. So we often bring our own experiences and our own kind of baggage to the books that we read. So if Vietnam was an unpleasant time for you, it might make this, book a little bit more unpleasant. I have seen that with some of my patrons who are like, yeah, I didn't like it, but then you dig a little deeper and maybe they had a rough time or it brought up something painful in their lives.
Sure. And we're running a little low on time, so if you don't mind picking maybe a favorite out of your remaining ones.
Okay, well, I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to another Vermont author because we might as well plug Vermont. So another series that you could just lose yourself in is Archer Mayer's the Joe Gunther series. So I brought the first book and I brought the 33rd book. He's up to 33 books in this series. These are mystery detective novels. They're police procedurals. They take place throughout Vermont. So he's based in the Brattleboro area, but he comes up to Burlington, the Northeast Kingdom, St. Albans, anywhere. I think this latest one even has him stepping into New Hampshire. So he gets around, but Joe Gunther is just a great gumshoe with a heart.
And to look at some local locations, a name you'll recognize.
Right, you can travel around Vermont from your armchair.
All right. And you have one more Vermont author as well?
I do. I have one more Vermont author I'd like to talk about. And I, again, don't have the book, but this is Catherine Arden's book. And this is The Warm Hands of the Ghosts. I don't have the book, so I might have gotten the title a little wrong. There it is, Warm Hands of Ghosts. And this is, Catherine Arden wrote The Bear and the Nightingale series. She also wrote Small Spaces, so she's known for folklore and dark and fantasy. So this seems a little dark for a summer read, but oh, is it good. So for fans of Outlander or maybe the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Both great books.
Yeah. So this is historical fiction at its best, but combined with her traditional folklore. So this takes place in World War I Belgium. A sister goes to look for a missing brother who's presumed dead, and there's a mysterious hotel in the woods, and can you drink this drink and forget about the war? And
a lot going on.
A lot going on, but it is great.
All right, and that's all we have time for today, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that takes care of Across the Fence for today. My thanks to the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX. Go visit your local library. I'm Jolie Whitney. Have a good one.